The purpose of this video is to introduce new players to all the classes in Team Fortress 2. If you are unsure on how to play a specific class or just don't know where to start, then this is the video for you. If you have no idea what Team Fortress 2 is, then head over to tf2.com and check it out. There's also a link called Movies you can click, and there's all the Meet the Videos, which are trailers for the different classes, so check those out to see if this is something for you. The game is free and is available on Windows, Mac, and Linux, and there's no pay to win. First off, we have the Scout. The Scout's the fastest class in the game and has the ability to double jump. Double jump is very useful for jumping onto ledges, which other classes normally can't reach. The Scout's also the smallest class, which is also handy when you want to hide around corners on top of ledges, waiting to ambush your opponents. What Scout's really good at is flanking, mostly because of their speed. Because as a Scout, the closer you are to your target, the more damage your weapons will do. The scattergun, which is the primary weapon for the Scout, can 2 or 3 shot most classes at point blank range. As a Scout, instead of attacking the enemy's front lines head on, try to flank and get around or behind them. Also use your speed and jumping abilities to avoid explosives and gunfire. As for recommended play, stick to your flanks, do not attack head on by yourself, go with your team for maximum effect, as attacking heavies and sentries head on will often lead to a swift death. Skill level is medium because as a Scout you require some knowledge of the map, mainly where ammo and health packs are located. So if you enjoy being really quick and jumping around and being overly pretty annoying to the enemy team, then Scout is a class for you. However, keep in mind, Scout does not pack a big of a punch as other classes do, and he's pretty fragile, so keep that in mind when you play. Next up is the Soldier. The Soldier is a class that can do a bit of everything and doesn't really counter anyone or get countered. In order to do well as a Soldier, try and stay above your target at all times. Shooting down is what you want to do, as it makes things a lot easier to hit and you will hit more target with the explosions from your rockets. If you're on the level playing field, try aiming at their feet, as their chance of getting caught in the explosion is a lot higher than if you tried shooting directly at them, as rockets aren't really all that fast and can easily be avoided by players who are paying attention. The Soldier is a power class, meaning you're able to bring some muscle to your team and help out with some raw firepower. However, keep in mind that you have to reload your rocket launcher because having rockets is important. As a Soldier, you have this nifty mechanic called a rocket jump, an explosive jump, which is you aiming at your feet, crouching, jumping, and then firing your rocket launcher, making you go flying through the air. There's plenty of guides on YouTube, Reddit, Steam forums, and the Steam community guides showcasing all the ins and outs of doing a proper rocket jump. As a Soldier, you will lose some health every time you rocket jump, thus making the medic's healing ability very useful. Soldier skill difficulty: easy with no rocket jumps, and medium if you use the rocket jumps. One class you should be careful around is the Pyro, as a good Pyro can really mess up your day as a Soldier, which is evidently the next class we're going to take a look at. Pyro is a close combat class, who has more of a supportive role, even though he is listed as an offensive class. In addition to burning things, the Pyro's flamethrower has a compression blast, which is an air blast that has a variety of uses. It can extinguish your allies from fire, reflect projectiles, and push the enemy back, which comes in real handy when you want to push back invulnerable players. Pyro is considered to be the engineer's best friend, hanging around his buildings and doing spy checks. It's important to note that in this game you can run through your teammates, but not your enemies. A disguised spy will look identical to your teammates, so putting them on fire is the best way to check for spies. Recommended Pyro play is a bit similar to the Scout. Try not to attack head-on in the open by yourself, but rather stick to corridors, hallways, and generally smaller areas, since those are areas where the Pyros are really good. Try to team up with your teammates, as your presence can really make or break a situation in an attack or a defense. Be careful around sentries and enemy heavies, as they can really end your life in the blink of an eye. Pyros are bad against heavies, but Pyros are good against spies. Pyros can be good against Soldier and Demoman if you have mastered the art of air blasting. Skill level: easy without mastering air blast, and hard if you want to master the air blast. The fourth class is the Demoman. The Demoman is the most powerful class in the game. Armed with bombs and grenades, he can do a lot of damage. Pipe bombs will explode on impact, however if you miss your target, they will just simply roll on the ground and explode a few moments later. Sticky bombs, on the other hand, will stick to most surfaces, and the bombs can be remotely detonated at any time using right click. The only thing limiting the damage output you can do as a Demoman is your own creativity. Whether it's placing cunning sticky traps, making an obvious minefield, or just shooting and detonating simultaneously at the enemy are all really good ways of turning your enemies into a splattery mess. Usually 3 or 4 sticky bombs inside each other should be enough to kill anyone stupid enough to walk into your trap with a single detonation. The Demoman is also a power class, meaning he will benefit greatly from getting heals from a medic. Similar to the soldier, the Demoman can also use his own explosives for explosive jumping. Recommended Demoman play is to be a bit defensive. Taking time to reload all your weapons is important, as consecutive reloads are more desirable. Demoman is marked as a defensive class, but it can also be used to great effect during an attack, as Demoman is one of the few classes that are really good at shooting up. Demomen are weak against scouts who are good at dodging, meaning they can dodge all your projectiles, and Demomen are really good against sentries. Skill level is medium to hard, depending on how well you master using only projectiles. Next up is the flagship character of Team Fortress 2, the Heavy Weapons guy. The Heavy is probably the easiest class to get into. He is big and he is slow, but he has a minigun, making him very dangerous. The minigun will chew through any enemies who are unprepared or out of position, as it does a lot of damage. Heavy is also a power class, so having a medic healing you will be of great help to your destruction. Because the Heavy is big and slow, this makes him a prime target for snipers and spies, as spies will try and kill you when you're busy with something. However, in theory, a single heavy medic combo could potentially kill an entire enemy team if the enemy team attack the combo one at a time. Note that your minigun takes some time to spin up, so other players will probably take full advantage of this if they catch you off guard and not spun up. A spun up heavy is a lot scarier than an unspun heavy. Recommended play is to attack head on. The heavy has a lot of health, which makes him able to take a lot of damage before going down. Also, jumping and spinning your gun in mid-jump is recommended, as it gives you some extra momentum. Because in this game, you don't lose any speed if you jump. Aiming-wise, you should try and finish off your target before moving on to the next. Misprioritizing targets can easily get you killed. Heavy counters Pyro, but Heavy is countered by snipers and spies. Skill level is easy, you point and shoot, but you should pay attention to your positioning. Number 6 is the Engineer. The Engineer is the most influential class in the game. With his buildings, the Engineer is able to control the flow of the game. As your sentry is usually where the choke point will be and where the enemy will focus their fire, your dispenser is where your teammates will gather around to refuel on their health and ammo, and your teleporter is where reinforcements arrive. Keeping these key buildings at level 3 and operational is what really helps the logistics of your team. The easiest way to play Engineer is on defense. Because you have setup time, it allows you to get some buildings up, but it is fully possible to play Engineer on offense as well. However, it is a lot harder, due to the fact that your buildings are stationary and the front is always moving forward. You can, however, pick up your buildings and put them somewhere else, but this leaves you quite vulnerable, often leaving you in high-risk, high-reward situations. Sometimes it could be better to destroy your buildings and just rebuild somewhere else. You will often see a lot of engineers building their buildings outside of spawn and then carry it out. This is not recommended. It's recommended that during setup time, all you do is you build your teleporter entrance and then find yourself the largest ammo pack close to the objective and build there. It will go faster. But look out for spies, as spies have a weapon that is solely dedicated to sapping your buildings. This is why having a Pyro as a friend makes your life a lot easier as an engineer. Recommended play: hit things with your wrench when they're building, as they will build faster. Place your sentry so they cover the objective in some way. Put dispensers where they might be useful for you and your team, primarily you, because dispensers will generate the metal you need to repair and upgrade your buildings. If a spy saps all your things, try to deal with the spy before repairing, as if you ignore the spy, he will just keep sapping your buildings when you try to repair them. Engineer Sentry counters Scout, but Engineer Sentry is countered by Demoman and Spies. Most important of all, help other engineers, as having one level 3 sentry is better than 2 level 1 sentries. Skill level is easy if you just sit behind a sentry and repair on defense, medium if you do proper sentry placement and use yourself as a weapon alongside your sentry, and hard if you play it on offense. The 7th class is the Medic, which is the class that is the backbone of any good team. The Medic is able to heal, overheal, and sometimes turn players and himself invulnerable with something called an Uber charge, which is extremely useful. As a medic, it is important to give everyone heal and overheal. Staying focused and healing only one target is not recommended, as the more players you heal, the better your team will do overall. It's important to give your teammates more attention than you give your enemies, as it is your teammates' job to keep the enemy away, and having total control of your teammates will make it a lot easier for you to spot suspicious spy behavior. If you want to be useful regardless of your skill, or you just want to watch people murder other people as a result of you healing them, then this is the class for you. Recommended play, look around, heal everyone, and be in full control over the situation. And rather use the Uber too early than too late. As a medic, you are able to fend for yourself, however your weapons are pretty weak and should mostly be used in self-defense. Skill level is easy, you just stick with your team, heal them, and let them do the heavy lifting. The medic doesn't counter anyone, he just simply amplifies the damage output of your teammates, making him a great stalemate breaker. The 8th class is the Sniper. The Sniper is a support class that works best if he is allowed to stay in the back and have his team in front of him. He will do well if he can take the time he needs to make the shot and get the right kill at the right time. Otherwise, any class that gets close to him will kill him with ease. Killing the wrong target can often be of absolutely no use to your team and often lead into more stalemates. Instead, take out key targets. By key targets, we mean targets whose presence actively stops your team from doing what it wants to do, whether it be a sentry or a heavy or a pyro or a medic. It's up to you to make that shot, as it is completely situational. The sniper rifle will charge up and do more damage the longer you stay inside the scope. A fully charged shot to the head is enough to one-shot any class in the game. As a sniper, you will always hit right where you aim, regardless if you run, jump, or crouch. Your accuracy is always 100%. Recommended play: stay in the back, have your teammates stay in front of you, check your back often and listen for cloaking spy sounds, as spies really like to stab you when you are scoped in. Also, take the time you need in the scope and make sure you hit your target. Shooting less and hitting more is better than shooting more and hitting less. Skill level is medium because it requires some steady aim and prediction of enemy movement. Sniper counters heavy, but is countered by himself and spies. The 9th and last class of the game is the Spy. The Spy is the class who probably has the highest coolness factor out of all the classes in the game, mostly because the Spy is based around stealth and deception. As a Spy, you can be invisible and disguise yourself as the enemy team, as well as your own team. However, a Spy will lose his disguise if he stabs somebody or fires his sidearm. As a Spy, you need a lot of experience. If you act like the enemy, there's a bigger chance they will think you are one of their own, allowing you to stab them in the back or shoot them, getting the kills you need. Patience is key for any Spy. Trying to rush for a backstab or running directly towards your enemy disguise can be a dead giveaway, so keep that in mind when you play Spy. Spy is also a class who you, as a new player, will get killed by a lot in the beginning, as it is a fairly foreign concept if you've played other shooters. But as time goes on and you keep getting stabbed, you will start to see these red flags and giveaway for Spy behavior. Things such as teammates being very defensive, running around in circles, looking at you, not attacking, and seem to be very keen on getting up behind your back. Recommended play: when you have more knowledge of the game on how other classes work as well as the map, then you can start experimenting with Spy. Skill level is hard because it requires a lot of knowledge of the map, about the players, about the classes, as well as general timing and positioning skills. Spy counters Sentry, Heavy, and Sniper, and Spy is countered by Pyro and people paying attention. Team Fortress 2 has items as well. Items can be found in random drops, earned through achievements. They can be crafted, traded, or bought in the online store. No item is a straight upgrade of another item, but rather a side grade, making them work a bit differently. Blue text indicates the positive effects, while red text indicates the negative effects. So do read the item's description, as there are some weapons who are purely practice weapon who might look cool but doesn't actually do any damage. So fiddle around with items, find the classes you enjoy, and play and experiment with items and your playstyle to find what suits you the best. Hopefully this video has been of use to you, and we look forward to seeing you in game. If you wish to learn more about how items work, this channel has a lot of videos showcasing how all the items work in various scenarios. Just check the playlists or do a channel search. Thank you for watching, and see you in game. Oh, and above all, have fun!